Talent here at Delta College. Hi, I'm Roger Waller, your host for today's program, and you've just been watching and listening the Delta College Jazz Band under the direction of John Nordgren. And I want to thank you for watching and welcome you to Delta College Impact. On today's program, we're going to be talking about the music department here at Delta College. And joining me on the program is going to be Max Simonic, one of our music instructors and specifically a composer also. We're going to be talking to Max about the creative process of composing as well as the Delta College music staff and program. And joining us on the first half of the program is Isha Moore. Isha is a flute player as well as a composing student, and we're going to talk to her a little bit about what brought her to Delta College. But Max, let's begin with you. And what's the story on the Delta music program? What's involved in it, and give us some backgrounds of the staff.
Sure. First of all, we are a transfer college, so we prepare students to transfer as music majors to any university or college. And also we have very fine performing groups. And we have an applied music program where we have adjunct professors and teachers from all around the community and area that play either in the Stockton Symphony or teach in other colleges and universities that teach our students private lessons. And as far as our performing groups, we have a choral organization where we have choirs, the Delta Singers. Dr. Scott Bowen is in charge of that, an excellent program. He also has an evening program on Mondays for those who are for adults, more or less. And then we have the jazz band program, and in that John Nordgren is our new faculty member, and he's doing a tremendous job. We also have adjunct in that. We teach jazz improvisation and jazz scoring and jazz, both day and night jazz bands. And we have a symphonic band that Charles Jennings, Dr. Jennings, conducts, and he's on sabbatical right now, but he's in charge of that area, and so we're building that program too. So we have just about everything you want.
Wow, it sounds like a broad scope of a music program that we have here. Now, Isha, after hearing all that, now I hesitate asking, but what brought you to Delta College?
Well, actually, my family, we couldn't afford to send me off to a four-year right away, and I had a friend who attended Delta College, and he was a music major. So he really encouraged me and told me about the music program, told me all the good opportunities that I would have here at Delta, about the applied program and the classes, the theory classes, and the different performing ensembles. So that's why I chose to come to Delta, to save money, and plus because I heard it was a really good program.
Oh, that sounds exciting. And I know you've been involved in music for a while.
Yes.
Now, you came from Stagg High School.
Stagg High School.
And what was your involvement in music at Stagg?
Well, at Stagg High School, I was in the marching band, symphonic band, pep band. The last 2 years, my junior and senior year of high school, I was a drum major. So I started with music pretty early, but once I got to high school, that's when once I was a drum major, I really enjoyed it a lot more.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, Max, I know Isha sounds like just a student that you're looking for, somebody who's had some music training. Now, once a student gets to Delta, what should they expect from the music program?
If they are music majors, then they would take the music theory sequence. And when they do that and they're involved in a performing group, then they're allowed to have applied music free. And that's one of our little things that we wave at them, like you can do this. And they're expected to work as hard as they would for a four-year college. So we mainstream our students to be able to graduate and to be able to transfer. So our expectations of them would be the same as anywhere at a four-year institute, and perhaps even higher, because oftentimes in a community college, you don't have teaching assistants teaching the subjects. We have professors. Whereas in the four-year college, sometimes you have TAs doing the subject, maybe less experienced and whatnot. But we really mainstream our product to go out so the students are extremely prepared.
And I know, Isha, you probably have done some performing with Delta College.
Yes.
And what musical groups are you involved with here?
Well, this semester I'm just in the symphonic band. Last semester I was in the woodwind ensemble and symphonic band. I'm also in a jazz improvisation class. We don't do any performing, but it's where we work a lot with jazz and learning how to improvise. And I'm also in Pippin. They're doing a musical play this semester, and I'm in the pit orchestra.
Terrific. So you're getting experience working with the drama department as
Yes.
well as with the music department.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's going to be exciting.
And I know it's also exciting that you're going to be doing some performing in Stockton as well.
Yes.
With what type of a
Well,
group?
I have a few friends of mine. They put together a jazz group called Epistrophe. That's their name, and they've done some performing at just like coffee shops, Java Aromas, and we have a performance coming up like in Maxwell's Coffee House, just a little jazz combo. We should perform, a few jazz.
Hey, and that's exactly what you're training to do, is that
Yes.
performing. Now,
Yes.
Max, we should brag a little bit about Max. I think one of the things people don't get an idea of, a lot of Delta faculty, are some of their outside interests. And I know, Max, in your case, you have a lot. Now, you've had pieces performed worldwide. You might want to share with the audience a little bit of the experience that the successes that you've had, not only here in Stockton, but worldwide.
Well, worldwide, the farthest from here was Moscow, and Russia, of course. And at the conservatory, Moscow Conservatory, they're performing, in fact, using one of my pieces for voice as one of their training pieces for the voice majors. It's a song and vocal pieces. And then I've had pieces premiered by the Stockton Symphony here for their 70th anniversary and their 60th anniversary, so that was really quite a treat. Full symphonic works. Had jazz works performed, so I do that. And I have performances about 6 times a year in San Francisco in the Bay Area for premieres, and also I've had them in Chicago and New York, so different things like that.
And we're going to be showing our audience a little bit of some of your composition work, as we're going to show you, and we're going to sit back and listen to one of Max's pieces performed by the Oakland Symphonic Chamber Orchestra. Excellent. Max, I think as you look at it, now that was the Oakland String Quartet that we were watching.
Right.
And now as you put together a piece like that, is that like, takes you about a week, or how long does it take to do something like that?
Would that it could take that much time. That's just a short section of a 4-movement work. And a 4-movement string quartet, if it's 30 minutes long, would probably take about 4 hours a day, maybe 2 months, 2.5, 3 months of work. And luckily, for some reason, the good Lord has blessed me, and I write very rapidly. I just finished the work for a celebration in Lodi. They're going to be celebrating the new opening of a new rebuilt concert hall. And instead of giving me a year to write, they asked me to write something and said, "Can we have it in a week?" So I finished it, and I thought, okay, and in 4 days I gave them the product. But usually a symphony will take a year, big work. So it's time-consuming because you have to put all those notes down.
That's right, and see how they work together. And
Yes.
I know, Isha, you're being challenged this year in one of Max's composition classes. And did it make you rethink the role of a composer and the musician?
Yeah, very much so.
And what are some of the challenges you find as that now doing your own compositions?
Well, it's just a lot harder. You never really think when you're performing what all goes into writing a piece of music, just the different instruments, finding out how they work and how they all come together.
Do you
Things like
appreciate
that.
it now more as the performer?
Yeah. A lot.
Now, Max, when you have a student and new students getting into composition, where one of the things that you can start to think of is how do you work with that creative process as you try to have Isha and the other students think about putting the pieces together?
Well, one thing I try to do is separate it completely from academic subjects like theory, and we focus on whatever the natural talents and style of that student is. I won't try to change a style or anything. I just leave them to their best quality and to the way they like to write, whether it's jazz style, whether it's classical style, whether it's rock. We just work with that, helping them to develop their talents. And that's really what composition is, to help develop what talent is already there.
Do you have the students specialize in classical music, or do they actually do a variety of compositions?
I like to see variety. But if they wish to do one style, it's easier for a classically trained person to work the other way than it is for someone, let's say, in rock or in jazz to work in the classical way. And one of the reasons for that is simply that you have to have more literacy, proficiency to write in the classical vein.
And so some of the things you think about is, now a first-year student would take, what, music appreciation? Is that the
Those are
start?
non-music majors. That would be non-music. Music theory would be the one, music theory, the whole track of first and second year theory. They have to do that. Oftentimes they're not quite as prepared, so they do start with music fundamentals, so they can be better prepared to start. Most colleges, we find, are the music majors that haven't been well trained to begin with, but do have a great deal of talent, do almost a 2.5-year block in a community college. And it's not unusual. Even the 4-year college, they work a little extra to catch up. But when they do, oh, mercy, their talent has always been there. So we just need to work it out a little bit.
And I know a lot of our students go on to the 4-year institutions,
Yes.
as you say, transfer programs. And so you can start to think about what are some of the schools they've been to?
Well,
I'm going to stop you right there because we're going to give the audience a treat as we're going to listen to going into our break as Isha Moore is going to be playing the flute. And Isha, go ahead and start and let us enjoy Isha Moore. Welcome back to Delta Impact. I'm Roger Waller, your host for today's program. And today we're talking about music. And you're just listening to the Delta Choral Group. And joining me on today's program, we have a Delta instructor. And joining me back for the second half of the program is Max Simonic, one of our music faculty. And also joining us is Carrie Kreider, one of our music students. And Max, when I cut you off at the end of the first half, we're talking about some of the places where our students transfer to. And where do a lot of our students transfer?
Well, San Jose State, UOP, Sacramento State, Stanislaus State, and then Northridge, UCLA, I believe USC, and then some of them go back east. So they choose some of the better colleges. Chapman College.
And I know we're going to talk to Carrie a little bit, because I know when we talk about transferring, Carrie, you came to us from Linden High School, and you didn't start as a music major. How'd you start here at Delta?
I began as an anthropology major, and I was just doing general ed courses for a couple of years, and then I took some time from school and came back to Delta and joined the music program.
And what was it that said you wanted to become a music major?
I had been involved in music since I was about 7 with piano, and just did a few things on and off, accompanying for high school choir and singing in the high school choirs, and it was a lot of fun.
And what sort of groups are you involved with here at Delta?
Right now I'm in the concert choir and Delta Singers and Delta Chorale, and I used to play piano for the string ensemble and the jazz band, so a lot of opportunities.
And I know we alluded to you transferring to Chapman College, where you're going to be continuing your music work.
Yes.
Now, what are some of the classes you've taken here at Delta?
I have taken theory with Dr. Jennings and with Mr. Simonic, and as I said, the choral performing groups and the applied group where we take our lessons, and that's been wonderful. I don't know, just the classes that we need to complete the 2-year course.
And that's great. And I know, Max, as you look at our program, you and the other faculty have worked hard to put together a solid program that involves a lot of musical experiences for our students. And what was some of the theory as you started to put this building block together of the music program?
We needed to expand in areas such as technology in music and also the jazz program, and to define our goals and give ourselves about a 10 or 15-year plan. And we implemented a electronic music lab. Also, we have a very fine music lab itself, where one of our gurus of technology, John Townsend, runs the lab. So we have many computers in there, we have synthesizers, and students learn how to deal with the programs that are in textbooks, but also how to deal with programs that would enhance their musicianship.
Now, one of the things is I hear a lot of talk about technology and how, gee whiz, maybe we won't need live musicians like Carrie in the future. What's your view on that?
Oh, no, I disagree. Technology is just another thing that helps us, just like any other instrument. And it may cut corners here and there, but never will take the place of a beautiful voice or a wonderful instrument. We are into sampling, but sampling is we're probably 100 years off from having it really do what a real person can do. But nonetheless, it teaches us how to work within the field and perhaps help us to prepare for work in the media and to cut corners. I do some work with a station in Sacramento, and I can do something in 30 minutes that I probably couldn't do otherwise. However, I would never do something like that and put it on a symphony program. So everything is for whatever purpose you need.
And I know you talk about hundreds of years, and I know a lot of the music that you teach here really goes back several hundreds of years as you think about some of the classical programs. I know you had a chance to travel to Europe and see how music is taught over there. How did you compare and contrast some of the programs that you saw in Europe and other parts of the world with what we do here in the United States?
Well, I was in a place called Slovenia. It's the upper part of Yugoslavia. And I had the opportunity to see middle school music programs, and they're quite well supported in the educational system, and everybody was involved in something, as they were in athletics or technology, computers. But I noticed that there was a great deal of support in that area, and their performance levels and skills, even of those who were not going to be musicians, was literally phenomenal to me. It was amazing. So there's more time and effort spent in that area, it seems to me. But I think it's a lot easier when you have a smaller nation and everything is more homogeneous, you know, so they don't have all the worries that we have of many people speaking many languages, etc. So they can focus on other things a little bit more, perhaps.
And one of the things I guess is also a challenge is how do you teach students of today about music of 300-400 years ago? How do you make it interesting and exciting?
I think they find it exciting by performing it. And then we can talk about that element. I think all of the students enjoy performing the old music and find the skills and the difficulties behind it and the beauty behind it. So we look into the aesthetics of music.
And speaking of performing, we're going to show you a video of Carrie performing, and to show you a little bit more about some of the experience and skills of our musical students here at Delta College. toughest things is as a performer is watching yourself perform. Now, when you put on a 3 or 4 minute piece, and how long does it take for you to get ready for that performance?
Oh, it depends on the piece. A lot of the time, that's one of the pieces that the teachers use to train a lot. But we do other things, like an aria from an opera would take a much longer time to prepare for a performance. That took me about 2 or 3 weeks to practice every day. So.
Yeah, and I know a lot of it is working with your accompanist or working with people in your group.
Yes.
And how do you find that? Is that a challenge to start to get that musicality going when you're working with someone else?
Yes, it can be, but there are a lot of good musicians here, and just working with other people, it comes together, and it's a good experience working together.
And I know, Max, one of the challenges of an instructor is getting that ensemble group to be cohesive and work together. And I know one of your challenges is working in the small settings with students. And what sort of advantages do you find having that opportunity to work with the ensemble program?
In a small setting, you can focus quite a bit more on certain things, certain types of music, certain elements of music, and get them to focus with each other on balance and the sensitivity of how voices and instruments work together.
Yeah. And now one of the other things, I know, Carrie, you're also involved in the composition class here at Delta College. And what type of music are you trying to compose right now?
The piece that I just completed is a vocal piece for voice and piano accompaniment, and I'm working on a piece for piano right now.
Now, will you see this performed at the end of class?
Yes, we're going to premiere our works. So,
Terrific.
yeah.
Now, does that happen every semester, Max, as you work
I
on
haven't
this?
had a composition class in 10 years, so this will be the first for the last 10 years. We've not had that many students interested in composing, and all of a sudden, boom, everybody. And I hope it continues.
Now, are a lot of our programs open to the public as far as having people come down and see our performances?
Absolutely. If you check either the box office or the music department, and we send out brochures and whatnot, that you can find out all the things that are going on for the entire semester. The best bet is to call the Music Lab.
And Carrie, you get an opportunity to do an individual recital?
Yes, we do. The clip that was shown was from my midterm recital, and then we have opportunities to do other performances if we would like to.
And the public is invited to come and watch our student recitals as well?
Yes.
You know, one of the exciting things, I think, is to see a lot of our students, and I know, Max, you've been very happy to see the number of students enrolled in your music program. How many students do you have currently enrolled right now?
We have 57 music majors, which is a pretty good number, I think.
And
altogether, we have probably over 500 or 600 students enrolled in music courses.
And it really gives you an opportunity, if you are interested in finding out some information about the music programs. We're going to provide you with Max's phone number and address.
Fine.
So if you want to find out about the program here at Delta College, you can write us at San Joaquin Delta College, 5151 Pacific Avenue here in Stockton, 95207. And you can call Max at 954-5276. And I know there are a lot of exciting programs that you can find out also through the Delta College box office, what we have to offer here at Delta College. Now, Carrie, what sort of advice would you give to a student who's thinking about the music program and coming to Delta? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to take a look. There are a lot of great teachers here in the department, and it's a really good opportunity before transferring to learn about music.
That sounds like a good way to wrap up the program. Well, I want to thank my guests for joining me, and I hope you've learned a lot about our music program, and we see you enjoying music here at Delta College. Thanks for watching.